In this video, we will be addressing some of the most common parental concerns about the reading process. Shared book reading has been found to have positive implications on children's language and literacy skills, such as vocabulary learning and reading comprehension. However, many parents may wonder, how can I better accompany my child during these reading sessions? When conducting shared book reading, you may ask your child some questions to engage them. You may also give them instructions. These questions and comments can generally be categorized into 3 levels: low, medium, and high, and reflect the amount of mental effort needed to answer the questions. According to Sun and colleagues, high-level questions are not necessarily the best. In Singapore, while most children are raised as bilingual, they may have different levels of proficiency in both languages. When it comes to shared book reading in the child's stronger language, medium-level instructions were found to improve 4 to 5-year-old children's receptive vocabulary and word reading skills in class. Meanwhile, low-level questions are more suitable for the child's weaker language. In daily practice, you can combine these 3 levels of questions during shared book reading. Let's look at a few examples. Low-level questions and comments include counting, demonstrating, labeling, and sequencing. Children can rely on simple textual cues such as illustrations to respond to parents. You can consider pointing, copying actions, identifying objects, and using adverbs such as next or then that indicate the order of events unfolding. Medium-level questions and comments can include explaining, recalling, expansion, and classification. These require knowledge outside of the book. You can define and explain terms, ask your child to repeat what happened in the book, reference your child's personal life, and explore broad categories of classification such as animal, plants, or vehicles. High-level questions and comments may include inferences, prediction, and reflection. These will require the greatest amount of thinking from your child. They typically involve content not found inside the book. At this level, you can ask your child for their thoughts and prediction. Now, let's take a look at combining the different levels of questions. For instance, if your child is interested in a picture of a bear picking a fruit, you can ask them to label, what animal is that? You can then expand your knowledge by introducing classification. A bear is a mammal. You can then ask the child to predict. What do you think the bear is going to do with the fruit? Besides asking questions and giving comments, your answers to your child's questions are equally important. At around 2 to 5-year-old, children will ask many questions, 2/3 of which are used to gather information. You should respond to your child's questions whenever possible. It may be slightly frustrating to repeat yourself, but this will have great impact on your child because doing so can help them construct their knowledge, nurture their curiosity, and make them want to learn even more. If you are unsure of how to respond to your child, use the PEER model. The PEER model is meant to help children master new vocabulary and complex sentences. P. Prompting your child to say something about the book. E. Evaluating the child's response. E. Expanding by providing additional information. And R. Repeat to check for understanding. Try to interject only at suitable moments. Let your child read as much as they can until you notice them struggling with a new word or pointing to an object within the book. At times, you may notice your child struggling with certain skills such as making inference. In this case, you can try thinking out loud to demonstrate how to do it. This will be beneficial to the development of your child's inferential skills. Using the example of Little Red Riding Hood, thinking out loud may take the form of asking questions such as, why is the wolf putting on Grandma's nightgown? What is he trying to do? Why is he trying to pretend to be Grandma? Your non-verbal behaviors may be critical as well. Evans and team find that pointing to the words in the book during reading session help with directing the child's attention to the print on the page and increase their print looking times. These boosted the memory of print elements among 3 to 5-year-olds. Some parents have also asked, other than shared book reading, are there other activities that my child can do to improve their reading skills? There sure are. One such activity is to use picture books to create their own stories. Wordless picture books have a wide range of benefits and inspire storytelling in many forms. Children are able to be creative as they invent suitable narratives, developing their own sense of story as they do so. For example, in the wordless book A Ball for Daisy, the little dog is seen to experience positive emotions while playing with the ball. Children can use this opportunity to present what they think the dog is feeling. They might say, the dog is feeling happy because she has her favorite toy. Or, I think the dog's feeling excited because she is playing fetch. After reading a book, parents can consider assessing their child's understanding and comprehension of a story by prompting them to retell the story. Story retelling is a useful indicator of how much a child knows about a topic and is applicable to both print and e-books, regardless of whether they are wordless or not. Let's use The Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle as an example. Retellings may include major characters, characteristics of characters, problems, and solutions. Do note that events of a story should be presented in a sequential order, and important events of the story should be emphasized. For this story, a child may simply say, "There is a caterpillar who is small, green, and very hungry. He eats a lot of food and becomes unwell, so he just eats one leaf and feels much better. In the end, he turns into a butterfly." In summary, when reading with your child, remember that there are different levels of instructional strategies. You can combine low, medium, and high-level instructions when reading to your child. Additionally, respond to your child's questions meaningfully and patiently to nurture their curiosity. When they ask questions, they are trying to make sense of what they know. You can use the peer method: prompt, evaluate, expand, and repeat to check for understanding. If your child struggles with making inference, you can try thinking out loud, or point at the words to direct their attention to the text. Lastly, picture books can also be turned into story-making opportunities. Having your child retell a story can be a good assessment of their understanding of a text.